James Cameron's The Terminator changed action cinema forever when it debuted in 1984, offering a gritty, sci-fi narrative that captured the imagination of audiences worldwide. The film's innovative concept and electrifying storytelling propelled it to instant success, and it became one of the most iconic sci-fi action franchises in cinematic history. With a brilliant sequel, Terminator 2: Judgment Day, released in 1991, Cameron further expanded the universe, solidifying Arnold Schwarzenegger's legendary role as the titular Terminator. However, as the franchise continued, it became clear that it had lost the spark that made it so compelling. The franchise's subsequent sequels, while successful at the box office, could never quite recapture the magic of its original entries. Terminator Salvation, 2009, stands out as the one movie that should have ended the saga, offering a fitting conclusion to the story arc. The original two Terminator movies are peak cinema for a reason. What made The Terminator and Terminator 2: Judgment Day so iconic wasn't just the combination of Cameron's direction and Schwarzenegger's imposing presence. The film set a new standard for sci-fi action, blending visual effects, practical effects, and innovative storytelling in ways that influenced an entire generation of filmmakers. Cameron's vision expanded the genre, using themes of technology, existentialism, and the human condition as central narrative pillars. The films are widely regarded as some of the best in cinema history, particularly Terminator 2, which helped define action filmmaking. Its groundbreaking visual effects, including the use of CGI for the liquid metal T-1000, revolutionized the genre and advanced 3D technology. At their core, however, both films were about family, survival, and the fear of an uncertain technological future. The lore surrounding Skynet, the machines, and the inevitable Judgment Day drew audiences into a world where the line between man and machine blurred, and heroes and villains were often hard to distinguish. The deterioration of the franchise post-Judgment Day. After Terminator 2: Judgment Day, however, the franchise began to lose its direction. Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines, 2003, continued the story but failed to deliver the same emotional depth or narrative innovation. The next decade saw several attempts to breathe life into the series, including the short-lived Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, which, though beloved by a dedicated fanbase, failed to reach mainstream success. Subsequent films like Terminator Genisys, 2015, and Terminator: Dark Fate, 2019, suffered from a confusing timeline, lackluster storytelling, and the over-reliance on nostalgia. The franchise became a shadow of its former self, repeating the same plot points and continually revisiting the same premise of stopping Judgment Day or saving John Connor. At this point, it was clear that the series had become overly reliant on spectacle and nostalgia at the expense of genuine narrative innovation. Terminator Salvation, the only sequel worth watching. While the films that followed Terminator 2 are often criticized, Terminator Salvation stands out as the one entry in the series that provides a unique and fitting continuation of the story. Released in 2009, the film focuses on the post-apocalyptic future established in the first two films, showing the war between humanity and the machines in full force. Set in 2018, it depicts John Connor as a leader of the human resistance, with a major focus on the battle for survival against Skynet's army of machines. Despite mixed reviews, Terminator Salvation offers several notable strengths. Unlike the other sequels, it abandons the repetitive time travel premise in favor of exploring the future war that fans were eager to see. The film provides a deeper look into the world that Kyle Reese and the Terminators come from, offering an action-packed narrative that immerses viewers in a world at war. The film also introduces a new character, Marcus Wright, played by Sam Worthington, whose backstory is integral to the evolving themes of human-machine relationships. His struggle with his identity as both human and machine adds depth to the film, making it feel like a true continuation of the existential themes explored in The Terminator and Terminator 2. The film also ties in cleverly with the original two entries in the series. The idea of multiple possible futures and altered timelines is established in Terminator 2 and fully explored in Salvation, which examines what happens when humanity's fight for survival becomes a war of attrition against machines. The return of Kyle Reese, albeit in a younger form, ties the narrative back to its roots, effectively bringing the trilogy full circle. Why Terminator Salvation should have been the last sequel. Terminator Salvation works so well because it concludes the original narrative arc while expanding on the themes and world-building set up by Cameron. It successfully closes the loop between the two earlier films, showing the progression of John Connor's leadership and his eventual connection to the Resistance. The film's more serious tone and focus on the war against the machines also provided something fresh in comparison to the repetitive nature of the sequels that followed. Critics may point to issues such as Christian Bale's portrayal of John Connor and the film's uneven pacing, but these criticisms overlook the film's significant accomplishments. The war between man and machine, which had been hinted at in earlier films, is fully realized here. The futuristic landscapes, terrifying new machines, and action sequences are thrilling, and the climax at Skynet headquarters feels like the culmination of everything that came before it. After Terminator Salvation, the franchise began to fall apart. Terminator Genisys and Terminator Dark Fate attempted to reset the narrative once again, but the over-reliance on nostalgia and the muddled timeline only led to confusion and disappointment. The films failed to expand the lore in meaningful ways, and the return of key characters like Linda Hamilton's Sarah Connor and Arnold Schwarzenegger's T-800 could not rescue the franchise from its stagnation. The final word. Terminator Salvation was a misunderstood and criminally underrated entry in the franchise, and in many ways, it was the last film in the Terminator saga that deserved to be made. It wrapped up the narrative threads set up in the Terminator and Terminator 2, Judgment Day in a way that felt fresh and connected to the heart of the series. Its flaws notwithstanding, Terminator Salvation was the last worthy addition to the franchise, and the series should have ended there, preserving the legacy of James Cameron's groundbreaking films without further diminishing its impact.